Do you guys wonder what's the secret to success for 2022 as a small business owner? Well, I'm here to tell you about it today. And because this is so important to me and because this topic is so instrumental to your success, we're going to take a little bit longer and there's going to be visual aids. So get excited. I'm Karen Terradas with Social U, and every Wednesday we come to you live for What's Up Wednesday, where we talk about digital marketing and social media tips, tricks, and trends. And today we're going to talk about the secret to success. So let me do a little screen share real quick. I want to share this. There we go. All right, so I'm going to make myself small in the corner so that you can see the screen. But the secret to success, what is it? It's planning. Yeah, surprise. You need a plan. It's absolutely imperative that you have a plan to move forward, because the plan you're just wandering around aimlessly and nobody has time for that. There's too much at stake for you to just wander and not know what's happening with your business. So by planning out your social media strategies, it allows you to know what you need, which makes the whole option of getting it done that much faster and that much better. All right, so let's go through it. I always like to talk about the why. The normal person spends like 2.5 hours on social media every day. That's average. So they're averaging in people who never get on it with crazy people who spend 6 and 7 and 8 hours on it a day. Normal people are on social media all the time. Platforms are shifting. TikTok is coming for Facebook. So if you haven't thought about incorporating video into your marketing and branding this year, I would tell you to get right on top of that, Rose. I'm not going to read these stats to you. You guys can go back and watch them. This is what they say. Everybody's online. 200 million Instagrammers visit a business profile or page every single day. The younger the user, the more likely they are to interact with a brand, and the more likely they are to be have some personal impression from that brand. What does that mean? It means if you don't respond to them online, they're done with you. That's what it means. Content marketing is so much cheaper than traditional marketing, and it can generate up to 3 times as many leads. And most consumers have 71% of consumers that have a good experience with social media are likely to recommend it to others. I believe that statistic means verbally. I don't think it means written, because happy people don't normally write reviews. Your angry people write reviews, and then the whole world reads them. So reviews are an awesome thing. You need to cultivate more reviews for your business as your business grows. And this makes it a little bit difficult for me to monitor questions. So I'm going to pull this up on my app while we're talking so that I can see if I'm getting any questions, because I don't want to leave anybody out. Happy people will talk. Angry people will scream. So just keep that in mind. Okay, 4 reasons people will unfollow a brand, really and truly. If your product's bad, if your service is bad, if your content is bad, or if you're advertising them to death, they're out. Nobody wants to be screamed at. You would never go into a business networking function and take a handful of business cards and throw them in somebody's face and then run away. And that's basically what you're doing when you're spamming them with your content online, especially if it's salesy. So first thing you want to do is start with an audit so that you can understand what your insights are telling you. Your insights will tell you, who is your audience? Is it male or female? Where do they live? How old are they? What's their kind of what they look like, so that you can target to them better. If you discover from your insights that your audience is younger and Hispanic, female, and you're on Twitter, you are missing a huge opportunity, because that's not where that audience is. So you need to go where your audience happens to be. And you can't do that unless you know who your audience is. So you got to check those insights. Starting with an audit is a good idea. The next step in the process for planning, you want to determine a monthly theme. This makes everything. Hey, Susan, how are you doing? I bet you guys are crazy busy. B&A Warehouse, yummy catering. Oh, it's just the best. Okay, now I'm going to want that. But thank you, Susan, very much for chiming in. Monthly theme is very helpful. You can use the National Days of calendar to help with your theme. It helps you generate content based on that specific theme for that specific month. So as you're planning, you need to look at that. And of course, your content calendar is your best friend. And I'm going to give you suggestions to put in your own rotation for your content calendar. Ideally, you want 5 to 6 options per week, and you want a 2-week rotation. So I'm going to give you, I think, upwards of 20 options to fill into those 10 to 12 slots so that you're not constantly repeating material. And not everything works for everybody. National Day of calendar is critical. If you're a hot dog vendor and you miss National Hot Dog Day, that's bad. If you're a GYN and you miss National Hot Dog Day, nobody cares. That's why it's so imperative for you to check those holidays and make sure what's happening, what pertains to you. If we miss National Social Media Day, that looks terrible for us. So you have to stay on top of those national days and make sure that you're using what's available to you. The Humane Society, they need to know when Black Cat Appreciation Day is, and they need to know when it's Animal Support Month. Women doctors need to know Women's Health Month and Men's Health Month. It just needs, your theme needs to go with your company. So yes, you probably don't need to know when National Hot Dog Day is, unless you're a hot dog vendor, but you wouldn't know that if you didn't check out that calendar. You also need to create a location to save your ideas. I love Pinterest. I use Pinterest as an ideas board for almost all of our clients, and you can kind of chart the history of our client base on our Pinterest. Coffee client, there's the coffee board. Gym trainer client, there's a gym health board. What's another example? Ice cream client, there's an ice cream board. So, and I have business tips, I have social media tips. I will park information there and use it later for my own inspiration to write my own material, or use that article or post that article. So you can absolutely use it as inspiration for yourself. Okay, so I mentioned before that you want to brainstorm ideas for categories for a 2-week rotation. So this is what a content calendar, and this is just a general idea for a topic rotation, and this is Monday through Saturday. Most businesses post 3 to 5 times a week, so you don't really need 6 topics every week, but I always like to have a backup. So, and when it's laid out like this, it prevents you from repeating. Humor is great, but you can't post humor every single day. Motivational quotes are great. Most companies can't get away with posting motivational quotes every single day. That's why it's so important that you see the rotation. Twice a month for motivational totally works. Daily doesn't work. So when you see it laid out like this, it's really a tremendous help. So now that you're getting ready to brainstorm, let's get into some ideas for those different days. Tips and tricks are always good. Keep it simple. You don't overcomplicate what your clients need to know. And I forget this sometimes. You know, scheduling a post on Facebook is second nature to me because I've done it 2 million times, but somebody who's just starting has no idea. So it's okay to backtrack. It's okay to share what you think is simple. It's not simple to somebody else. And just because they don't know it doesn't make them dumb or ignorant. It just makes them inexperienced with what you're doing. I could never be a realtor. I don't understand the ins and outs of the mortgage process and the closing process. It's so complicated to me. Doesn't make me dumb. It makes me inexperienced in that field. If I did it every day, it would be a little bit different. So you kind of have to think about it like that. Encourage feedback in your comments. Ask your customers. Most people are so happy to share their opinion. You just have to reach out to them to get it. And make sure it's relevant to your brand. World Games is coming, and that's relevant to a lot of Birmingham businesses. But if you're going to post about it, it still needs to tie into the brand. Just something to bear in mind. Blog. Are you blogging? Why not? It is one of the best things you can do for your SEO. It is the easiest way for you to get your own message across. It's basically your own personal soapbox. And those keywords work. You will start seeing magic happen on your website once you hit blog number 51. I don't know what it is about 50, but 50 is the magic number. People will start calling you and say, I saw you on Google. Really? I don't have any Google ads. How did you do that? It's your blog. So you combine a very consistent blog effort with YouTube videos, and you can totally, in some good Google reviews, you can dominate on Google without having to pay big bucks for an ad. Other platforms, cross promote. people aren't following you on Instagram, have a Facebook contest to promote your Instagram page. You want people to go see your Pinterest board. Excuse me. Sorry. I just have to do at least one embarrassing thing every single time I'm live. So let's hope that's it for today. But cross promote. YouTube, Facebook doesn't like YouTube, so maybe that's not a good thing to cross promote. But you can talk about your Facebook channel on your Facebook page on your YouTube channel and put a link there. Cross promote. It works. How-tos. Again, I can tell you it's really important for you to schedule your posts so that they don't control your schedule. But actually showing you how to schedule a post is a very powerful thing. How-tos are the most looked up of any topic across every industry on YouTube. So how-tos absolutely work. Spotlight a vendor, an employee, a local business. Talk about the people you work with. We have a small business of the week that we highlight every single week on Instagram. I love that feature. I love being able to shout out to other small companies. There's some good ones. There are some really good small companies. Let's talk about them, especially women owned. There's just there's a reason that women owned businesses are a minority. There's not a lot of us out there, so let's support each other. I love that idea. And your employees, a lot of employees respond very positively to positive reinforcement, and that includes a public shout out from their company. So don't be afraid to spotlight employees. Client testimonials, something about third-party endorsements work. Don't believe me? Go get on Yelp. They've made a living out of third-party endorsements. I will absolutely read the Amazon reviews. I don't know, Sheila S. from Colorado. I don't know her, never met her, but she said that these pants are good, so I'm going to try them. It's just a very normal human thing. It's human nature to want to look at those third-party endorsements. So when you can post a client testimonial, it's very helpful. And you don't have to post the entire testimonial at one time. You can break it into pieces. And the best client testimonial in the whole world is a video, because you can always transcribe it into a written graphic or into a picture. But people will say things live on video about you or your company that they might not write, and it's always overwhelmingly positive, and that's absolutely what you want. Quotes and motivation are great, not necessarily every day, but they can totally work for you. You just need to space them out a little bit. Humor. Hey, if you're funny, be funny. We started seeing a lot better response on our channels when I'm a little snarky and sarcastic. I know it's shocking, but when we leaned into that, it really helped our staff. So if you're funny, be funny. If you're not funny, hire somebody who's funny. Trends. Pay attention to what's going on in your industry. Like if you're a wedding vendor, you absolutely need to know what the color is for 2022. Pantone every year picks a color. Want to know what this year's color is? It's periwinkle. So you need to stay on top of that kind of stuff because it's important to your industry, so it's important to your clients. Teach a skill. Teach them how to do something. I can show you how to take backgrounds off of a picture on Canva. Really simple. I can show you how to do that without Canva. Also really simple. But when you teach someone how to do it, they will come back and watch that information over and over. Showcase or review a product. I love this. My whole team does it. They'll review tripods and ring lights and apps and tools so that you don't have to go slog through all that stuff. We had one tripod that we were testing, and when Laura put her phone in, it tipped over. That's dangerous. That's how you break a phone. And right now, I love my phone more than my son. So I don't want to have that equipment broken. I want to keep it for a long time. So reviews are critical. Really good stuff. What you're reading or learning, you can't be a business owner and not continue down the path of education. You have to constantly learn, especially in this field. Absolutely, you have to constantly learn all the time. So you have to tell me, what podcast are you listening to? What book are you reading? What class are you taking? What is helping you through what you're get more information right now? Wow, I lost my train of thought in the middle of a sentence. Wow, let's caffeinate. Better. User-generated content. I'm surprised at how many business owners don't pay attention to tags. But when you're tagged, look at those notifications, because that's content in the making, especially if you're a retail business. People will take a picture of your product, or they'll take a picture of themselves at your location. And that's important because that's content for you. People love to be featured, and then they're going to share it with their friends, and their friends are your next clients. So just bear that in mind. Take a poll or ask a question. Always works. This especially works in stories on Instagram because, again, everybody wants to share their opinion. Evergreen content. If it's funny in March, it's going to be funny in November. Content that's good is always good. Now, you can't constantly repost your entire rotation every 6 months. That will not work. But if you used a meme in March, it's going to work in September. That's just the way it is. And statistically, if you'll test this, if you had 20 likes the first time, you'll get 20 likes the second time. Probably a lot of the same people. If they like it, they like it. They'll come back and like it again. Now, obviously, you can't use seasonal content like that. Christmas humor, you can't post that in February because that would be weird. But regular content, if it works once, it'll always work. Top 3 lists, any kind of list. The top 3 worst mistakes you can make on Instagram. The top 3 things you have to have in your Instagram bio. The top 3 reasons you should never, ever, ever get on Twitter. You can make a list for everything. People love that stuff. And I would listen actually to each one of the things I just said, just randomly off the top. Why shouldn't I be on Twitter? Well, unless you're an older man and that's your target demographic, Twitter's not for you. If you're trying to sell skateboards to kids that are 14, maybe Twitter, but probably not. So you just have to keep your audience in mind. Behind the scenes, nitty gritty does great. Yes, polished video is awesome, but unpolished video is also good. People like to see a day in the life. They like to see what you're doing. They like to see behind the scenes. It makes them feel connected to you. And nobody's ever said, Madison, ugh, I hate her, but she posts nice stuff on social media. It doesn't work that way. They have to connect with you in order for them to purchase from you. So behind the scenes is a step in that direction. Tell your story. I am the worst about this. I don't often tell my story. I'm a single mom. I've been single since my child was little. I've been self-employed since my child was little. It was a struggle, but I feel like, especially after coming through the panini, that if we've made it through this, then we can make it through anything. So I think sharing your story is important. Contests or giveaways, promotions can be great for your rotation. You don't have to use them all the time, and you don't have to give away stuff all the time. However, a giveaway once a month is not a bad idea. And it doesn't have to be big. It could be a $5 gift card. It could be a $10 gift card. Most people will stop their mama for a $5 Starbucks card. So don't feel like you have to give away the entire farm to get interaction. We've got some of our best interaction from giving away something as simple as an ice cream cone. Community news, what's happening in your neighborhood is relevant, especially if you're a local business. You need to know what's going on in your backyard. If you're a company on 280, I need to know when Ruby Sunshine is opening. Tell me. Would I go read that article on your page? You bet I would. Call to action. Don't forget, it is absolutely okay to promote yourself. You are in business to make money. And I've had business owners tell me, I just don't want to come across too salesy. And my response to that is, are you good at what you do? Do you provide a service that benefits your client? That it's not too salesy. You are doing them a disservice if you don't tell them what you do. What we do works for people, or obviously we wouldn't still be doing it. So if I don't tell you what I do, I am actively doing you a disservice. So keep that in mind when you have your call to action. Now, you don't want to do it every day. Did I say you don't want to do it every day? Let's look at the content ratio. Pareto's principle, 80-20, 80% of the time you want to educate, inform, entertain, while 20% of the time you want to sell yourself. And I'm the worst. I forget about the sales part. My team doesn't forget it, but I will forget it. I will go through this whole presentation and I will not say, hey, if you like this content, you need to follow us on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram. Why do you need to follow us everywhere? Because I put up different content on every single, that's hilarious. Becky puts up different content for every single platform that we're on. You're going to get educational information every single day that's different on every single platform. So follow us everywhere. I forget to do that. They don't, I do. So bear that in mind. About a third of the time you want to promote your business or generate leads. About a third of the time you want to post information that aligns from outside sources like articles and industry information. And then about a third of the time you want direct engagement. That means user generated content, responding to questions, asking questions, taking a poll, having a promotion, having a sale, that kind of stuff. Little bit different if you're retail, because obviously people come to you so they can buy stuff, and a little bit different if you're food because people want to see pictures of that. But for the most part, 80-20. Okay. Don't sell too much or too little. Okay. What does that mean? I love realtors. They're some of the best clients ever, but they are very guilty of, on their business page, listing. Here's a picture of my face. Listing. Here's another picture of my face. You're going to wear your audience out. Yes, you need to have listings, but you also need to have content that's relevant to your end user. It can't all be about you. Don't forget to take time to kind of stop and listen to your audience, and don't be afraid to collaborate with other businesses. Again, let me just pick on realtors a little bit. You're basically selling your location. If you're, and I love this example, I use it all the time. If you're a Pelham, if you specialize in Pelham and Alabaster as a realtor, and you don't hang out at Donut Joe's or talk about Donut Joe's, Donut Joe's. Did I say backwards? Donut does. Yeah. If you don't talk about Donut Joe's, sometimes, I mean, you're missing a great opportunity because it's a uniquely owned small business. They have a very rabid following, and it's part of what you're selling to people who live in Pelham and Alabaster. Local people love that place, so you should really, really focus on that. And then once you have your content created and your plan is all done, schedule. For the love of Pete, schedule it. You will be a slave to it if you don't schedule it. It's so much easier to sit down if you have time on Monday afternoon from 1 to 3 to sit down and schedule an entire 2 weeks, because you can knock out 2 weeks in 2 hours, than it is to say, oh, it's Thursday, it's 4 p.m. I haven't posted anything today. What am I going to do? And we've all been there, especially as a small business owner. Facebook doesn't like other people playing in their sandbox, so you have to schedule Facebook and Instagram through Facebook. Hootsuite's great for LinkedIn and Twitter. It's especially great for monitoring Twitter. Hootsuite works as an excellent listening tool because it'll show you dashboards of your mentions and direct messages. Planoly works great for Instagram if you want to do that, although Facebook's now kind of made Planoly less critical because you can now schedule through Facebook for Instagram. And Tailwind is how you schedule blogs and Pinterest. I had to think about that for a second. Here is some information, just a quick overview on how to schedule on Facebook. I'm going to kind of blow through that. Okay, don'ts. Please don't do these things. Oh, please, for the love of Pete, do not post the same thing on different platforms on the same day at the same time. That is a major, major pet peeve. People will not continue to visit multiple platforms for you if you have the same thing everywhere. Those hashtags from Instagram, they don't translate to Facebook. That caption doesn't translate. Tagging people doesn't translate to Facebook, and you're just wearing your audience out. Please stop using your personal profile like your business page. There are advantages to having a business page. They include statistics, advertising, and insights, which you cannot get from your personal profile. And Facebook is really locking down on the rules. So if you're going to do it correctly, or they'll put you in Facebook jail and won't be allowed to use your profile. Please don't have multiple accounts for the same business or cause or nonprofit. It's confusing. Your audience doesn't know where to go to get information. We are working with a nonprofit now that when we got started had 11 pages and groups. Super confusing. People didn't know where to go. One voice, one brand, one message. You cannot ignore you can ignore your engagement. Don't ignore your engagement. You spend so much time and energy and money to get people to respond to you and follow you and comment on what you're doing, and then you don't respond to them when they leave a comment. That's crazy. You have to engage your audience, and it helps your stats big time. You can't ignore bad or negative comments. I had an example of this yesterday. There's a client, a friend of mine, we've worked together for a long time, had someone who's not actually a client leave her a bad Google review. So I actually suggested that she go through line by line and kind of address the issue. It's okay if it's not your fault and you didn't do anything wrong. It can be totally acceptable to address it and give your side of the story, but you can't ignore it. Sometimes the best road is ignoring it. It's very individual basis. I'm happy to help you guys if that's something that you come across. I've only had really 2 true PR emergencies for social media in the last 10 years. And honey, when they're bad, they're bad. So 3 that were really bad. Normally, you politely address the person. If it's something that you really did and you're guilty, you can apologize, but you ask them how to fix it, because most people, 9 times out of 10, they're going to ask for less than what you're prepared to give them anyway. So ask them, what can I do? I am so sorry that your order came in late. We weren't expecting that, or we forgot to place the order. How can we make you happy? Really simple. And a lot of times your other fans will come to your rescue. We had a situation a few years ago with a retailer in a drive-through, and a customer left a bad review that said they should take better care of their drive-through because they popped a tire. And we got on it immediately. We offered them some free product that made them happy. They posted about the free product. Well, some friends of theirs came right behind them and said, we were behind you in that drive-through line. You didn't pop a tire because you ran over anything. You hit the curb because you can't drive. Oh, yes, they did. Called them out in a public way. You just wanted free stuff from the vendor. Ha ha, LOL. So a lot of times people will come to your aid. And we've had that situation happen before with other vendors where I've literally stopped my team and said, just give it 15 minutes and let's see what happens, where your happy clients will run to your rescue. So don't be afraid. Please don't leave a URL in your caption. They're ugly. They don't help you at all. And they're ugly. And it makes you look like a rookie. So don't do that. And don't forget video. Have I mentioned? Let me refer to the cup. Only 17% of video content online is video. You're going to see a huge increase in that in 2022. And you either need to be on the train or you're going to get run over by it. And don't use bad images. There is no excuse for using bad graphics in this day and time when Canva is basically taking over the world. They are releasing new features almost daily. So there's just no excuse for that. And please don't write too much. Statistics say for 2021, posts with about 40 characters in length receive higher engagement. Sometimes you can go a little further, but for the most part, you just can't. People don't want to hear your life story and your Instagram caption. You need to tone it down just a little bit, pull back just a little bit. Don't overpost or underpost. It's like the whole Goldilocks thing. It has to be just right. Most pages on Facebook can only take 1 post a day unless you have a super engaged audience, and that is so incredibly rare. Most pages, 1 post a day. And that's not my opinion. These are stats that have been cultivated by HubSpot over years and years. And they're talking about pages that have tens of thousands of followers still normally only post once a day, because you will kill your audience. And conversely, if I log to your Facebook page and your last post is from July of 2019, I'm out, because it makes you look uninvolved. So you can't underpost either. Again, with the Goldilocks, it can't always be about you, but some of it has to be about you. Your face, you're putting yourself into your Instagram marketing plan will increase your engagement rate by 38%. 38%. So if you're afraid to get in front of the camera, I'll tell you to get over it, because it's time. You have to integrate yourself into your plan. And that's it. That's it for me today. I hope you guys enjoyed talking about this topic with me. Planning is so huge. You absolutely have to do it. We will be closed for the holidays next week, so you won't get to see my delightful face next week, unless you rewatch a video, which I highly recommend, because, of course, I am a delight. The last week of the year, we're going to do wide open Q&A. Anything you want to ask, any problems you want to bring, I'm here for it. So you guys be prepared and bring your crazy, bring your hard questions on the last week of the month. What is the date for that? It's the 29th? Yeah, 29th. So I'm here for that. Okay. And then we're going to start the new year with, I don't know what yet, because I'm the worst planner ever. I'm just kidding, but I'm not going to tell you until the last week of the year. So you guys, if you need anything, you can leave me a comment and I'll respond, or send me a direct message, and we'll get to it hopefully very quickly. And until not next week, but the week after. I'm Karen Taradas with Social You, and I'm here to help. Thanks.